everyone. This is the David Goodman Reality and Truth Show. My name is Vanita Lambert, and I have the honor of hosting the show every week. It's a platform that Mr. David Goodman left to service the community with information and resources. So I'm honored to be here once again this week. And I'm honored to introduce, we have a very special guest. All my guests are very special because I appreciate them taking their time out to share with the community about what they're passionate about. So today we have Mr. Ron Everett. He's the executive director of the Opus organization, and he's going to share with us a little bit about what the Opus organization represents and his passion about it, how he's able to help people. I kind of know a little bit about it, so let me stop before I tell you. Thank you for coming on the show.
Thank you, and I'm glad to be here.
All right, great. And could you please just tell our audience a little bit about yourself, and then we could go into what the Opus organization is all about.
Okay, I have a very long list of what my background is. However, I'm going to abbreviate.
You can give us a synopsis.
Well, I grew up in New Jersey,
Okay.
Paterson, New Jersey, and I graduated Eastside High School and went on to Hampton University, where I earned my degree in architecture.
Okay.
I went from architecture after my stint, shall we say, in college. I went on to graduate school in New York City, where I earned a degree in urban design. Urban design was sort of the legal framework of real estate development.
Okay.
And hence my career transformed from architecture to real estate development. I worked with the mayor's office in New York City for maybe 7, 8 years, and I was hired by a developer out of Harlem to run their real estate development department. And from there, I went on to work with Pitney Bowes in their corporate real estate area, and I worked for them for maybe about 11 years.
Okay.
And after that, I left the corporate world and began my own business, supply business.
Okay.
I started out, and I had a great mentor because my mentor said, when I decided to leave corporate, my mentor was a close friend and a contractor of mine, and we were talking about, he says, well, if you're going to leave, what are you going to do? I said, I really don't know. I thought about consulting.
Mm-hmm.
He suggested, he said, why don't you get in the supply business? I said, supply what? He said, it doesn't matter. He said, if you find something that you can buy and sell, that's the business you should be in.
Okay.
So I did that. I took him at his word, and it started with Pitney Bowes, and as my first client. Pitney Bowes became my first client. As I was leaving, I understood that they were looking for product that I was selling, and I negotiated something with their purchasing department to supply them with product.
Wow, that's great. You established a great rapport, and you worked for them, and that they were what, your first client?
They were my first client, and after that, I began to connect with different people in my network. Mm-hmm. And one of the guys who was my counterpart at IBM said he had left IBM and began to work for Johnson Controls. Johnson Controls had this management contract in Brooklyn for managing schools.
Okay.
And when I told him what I was doing, he says, oh, we can work something out. And hence, I got a contract with them to supply janitorial supplies, and I cut the cord. I cut the
biblical cord?
The biblical cord to corporate America, I cut it.
Yeah, and nothing like your own.
Nothing like your own. And I've always had that entrepreneurial spirit about me. And I took that and I began to use my skills, which were negotiating skills. My last years at Pitney Bowes, I negotiated their corporate leases, and I consider myself a pretty astute negotiator.
I would think so. Working for a prestigious company like Pitney Bowes,
right.
If you had that title, you have to really be good.
You have to be good, and it was fun to me.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, and that's what makes it so great. It's it's not like a job. It's like a passion. It's like something you love, and that's a good part about it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And once I left Pitney Bowes, in starting my own business, and I think anybody that starts a business understands that when you start your business, you're in isolation. You're just a person starting a business, and you don't really understand the pains or the challenges that a business owner goes through. So I needed to connect with other business owners.
Absolutely.
And I immediately connected with the Connecticut Minority Supplier Development Council,
Okay.
which is it's a regional organization that's part of a national network of minority-owned businesses that are seeking to do business with majority-owned companies, larger companies, and began to pursue that as an avenue to not only get new business, but to connect with other business owners that were like me. And I did that. I stayed with the council for a number of years, and I say a number of years, it's like 20 years.
Oh, okay.
And working with them to connect with other organizations that would buy my product.
So Opus is comprised of a bunch of businesses networking together, supporting each other, and when you bring somebody new in, that person not having to suffer the lonely feeling that you felt when you first started. Is that pretty much it, or?
Almost.
Okay.
Almost.
That's my understanding so far, so continue.
That's okay. With the Opus organization, once we found that the organization or the businesses that we were involved in, the minority businesses, once we learned that a lot of those businesses did not have the scale to service the Pitney Bowes and the Aetnas and stuff like that, we decided that we needed to do something a little different. Eventually, Opus was created by somebody else, and they reached out to me to get involved with them. And I actually changed the focus of what we're doing. Originally, we were going to these corporations as a consortium because as a consortium, we had the scale to service them. That was not successful. So I changed the direction. I said, well, here we are, a bunch of businesses that have scale, and they're all successful businesses. That's the difference between anybody that was involved in the council and the Opus organization. Opus organization was only consisted of those organizations that were seasoned, shall we say. People that had been in business for a while, that know about business, and that you would not feel uncomfortable with recommending someone. Because as a business owner, you know your reputation follows you. And your reputation can impact other people that are trying to do the same thing. And as a minority business, if you get an opportunity to work on a contract and you blow it, it's like the domino theory. Everybody behind you, I talked to those guys and they don't do it. So we decided to actually go as a consortium. And then when I realized the consortium wasn't working, I said we should do business among ourselves. And I set out on a mission to connect with as many business owners as I knew, because I learned that people will do business with people they know and people they like. So that formula became the basis for what we do at Opus.
I'm so interested right now. You got my full attention. I'm a business owner, but I work with a field marketing organization, so I didn't start out all alone just like you. I had help. So all of my commissions, they pay me my commissions, they negotiate the contracts, and I go out and I help folks with Medicare, life insurance, with the service. And we have our vendors. So would I be a good fit for your?
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely.
Okay, 'cause I want to be a part of this.
I was talking
Continue.
I was talking to your videographer. I call him a videographer.
Okay, yeah.
I was talking to him.
I call him my technician. He's my everything when I come here.
Okay, well, your guy.
My guy. I like
was talking
that.
to your guy, and he shared with me how he got into business. And that's how things start. They generally start from from opportunity that sort of comes your way, and you got to grab it.
Absolutely.
You have to grab it. But the more important thing is that he has a story. Just like I have a story here now. He has a story about how he got into business. And one of the things we will be doing on our platform, and by the way, our platform involves Zoom calls. We do Zoom calls once a week, 45-minute Zoom calls, where I invite people on, and they get a chance to introduce themselves and tell people what they do. Now, invariably, somebody on that call is going to either want that service or need that service, or maybe interested in exploring that service. Since these are seasoned business owners, it's not like we're teaching people how to run a business.
Exactly.
All right?
I got you.
You know, we're just sharing stories about, and we have people from New Hampshire to Alaska that are part of our network.
Okay.
The Alaskan person is a fisherman. They fish I guess the North Atlantic, whatever ocean is out there for king crab and salmon. And we have persons in Texas, Los Angeles, Carolinas, Florida. These are different business owners that I've met in my travels. Now, to give credit where credit is due, we connected with a federal agency that handles minority business development agencies. And what the guy, his name is Ron Uba, what Ron did was he recommended some other people to connect with me, because he said, Ron, he complimented me. He said, Ron is doing a great thing out there, and you should connect with him, because through his connections, everybody can't get a federal contract.
Right.
You know, everybody can't get a city contract. Everybody can't get all these major contracts. They can't happen. But through our network, we can make a lot of things happen.
Okay.
You know,
that's fantastic. I think you're the person I've been looking for.
But,
and I think I'm going to introduce like the next person that's coming on. You won't be here. You'll be out playing golf.
yes.
But she's a psychologist, Dr. Sanjay Phillips, who started Bryce and Associates in 2019, I believe, and survived COVID, and she's still surviving. So I have got to connect her with you. She is phenomenal.
And the most interesting part about all this stuff is that we are doing phenomenal things, and most people don't know it.
That's why we're here. Share this information. This information is on YouTube. It's going to be broadcast throughout the greater Bridgeport community. And just share this with anybody that you know that's in business, or anybody that you know. You never know. You don't know what you don't know. Put it like that.
You don't know what you don't know. That's one of my favorite
You don't know what you don't know.
phrases.
Just share it.
Share it.
And see what happens.
See what happens.
It's a miracle that I'm even here hosting the show for, 8-10 years. This was not the plan. It just, I was invited on this show when we were in Bridgeport to inform people about Medicare, because it has so many moving parts and so on and so forth. And long story short, here I am. But I'm more interested in your story.
Well, my story goes on. One of the most interesting people that I've met is a guy out of Florida. This is the guy that recently purchased a golf course. He's a brother that purchased the golf course literally at an auction.
Okay.
All right. His name is Stanley Campbell. Stanley Campbell has a very interesting background. He actually just ran for U.S. Senator in the primary. Obviously, he's a newcomer, so he didn't fare well. However, that's a beginning. So if you're going into politics, you got to start somewhere.
Yeah.
But Stanley's story was interesting because his background is he has a healthcare company, EagleForceHealth.com. Eagle Force Health. Yeah, Eagle Force Health. Anyway, his company monitors drug transactions in order to mitigate fraud, among other things.
Oh my goodness!
24/7.
You're so talking my language. It's just by far wasted abuse for Medicare, and in Florida, it's huge. It's huge.
It's amazing.
Oh, I know.
He came on our platform, and he shared with me the inner workings of his company and how these transactions are monitored, how they mitigate the fraud. That it's live. Everything is live.
Yes.
And his background is ex-Navy pilot.
Oh, okay.
He's ex-Navy, and he used that technology that he learned in the Navy to start his health care company. And the golf course situation was something. He's not really a golfer, but he
came out to make a connection.
He happened to be. I was there in Florida, and I played on this golf course before, and he happened to be there one of the times I was playing, and someone says, "Did you meet the new owner?" He happened to be there, and we got into this great conversation. We connected. I connected with him. We connected with the guy out of Jackson, Mississippi, to do some things, and it just continued to blossom from there. But that was the most interesting, and his company is huge. Company is huge. His wife happens to be assistant secretary for Health and Human Services, and the connections that we've made through those connections have been extraordinary. Now,
I can't wait to introduce myself on your platform. So I'm glad I got your card. Let me tuck this in a safe place and make sure I connect with you. I am interested in something you told me about how you're able to take this golfing event that's coming up and help implement it and correlating with kids and the betterment of teenagers, high school kids. Can you tell us a little bit about that? First, tell us about the flyer.
No, well, that flyer was created by one of your former guests, Alicia.
Alicia, thank you, Alicia.
Alicia has done all our graphics for our event.
She referred me to you. She said she asked me if I could have you on the show. I'm like, absolutely. Anybody you want. And today we're doing a double show.
So it's perfect.
Yeah.
Now, the event that we're doing was born out of our desire to do something for our youth, because as you may have picked up, all the time I've been talking, I've never talked about connecting with our youth.
Right. That's what I wanted to get to, because it's so important.
It's extremely important. We are responsible for our young people. We are, and if our involvement with them dictates what they become.
Exactly.
And oftentimes, kids, we deal with high school kids only, high school kids and up, because they're at a transition stage in their lives. They don't know exactly what they want to do. And what I've found is that people will choose, or the kids will choose what they see. Consequently, if they don't see it, it never materializes. And this idea came to me when I was golfing with a group of guys out of Florida who have this, they just play golf. I mean, as you may have seen, playing golf, if you're living in Florida, that's what you do. If you're a guy, woman, you play golf, because they have golf courses everywhere.
My husband plays golf in my backyard. You don't have to. I don't want to go there. And it's a beautiful thing because they love it. They're passionate about it, and it just makes you feel so good inside. And we all need that. It's like therapy.
In a lot of ways.
Calms you, and with all the chaos from your job or whatever else you may be doing, that's his space. That's when I call it in his moment.
Yeah. Well, we approach it from the standpoint of teaching kids to fish.
To fish?
To fish. The parable that says that you give a man a fish, he'd eat for a day. You teach him to fish, he'd eat for a lifetime.
So, wait a minute. So you're talking about real fishing, like throwing a line in a lake?
Metaphorically fishing.
Okay. Oh, okay. I was like, I'm a little slow with that.
Well,
okay.
The idea is that what we try to do with the whole golf and the kids, we teach them the importance of networking. because again, this whole idea of Opus is about networking and the things that we were able to achieve via networking. Well, golf is a world in which it's about networking. It's not just about playing a game. It's about who you can connect to while you're playing the game.
That is so true.
And our kids don't know that. The game of golf is filled with a value system that our kids can benefit from greatly. And the other part is they will be exposed to other professionals. Most people that play golf are professionals or business owners, or something. They're about. I would say most of the people are about something. No one I know that plays golf just goes to play golf.
Exactly.
All right. Most people are doing something, because the other part of it is golf is expensive.
Yes,
all right?
it is. You got to be able to afford
You
to
got to
be out
be
there,
able to afford to be out there.
or have a company that's going to give you a bunch of perks.
Something like
Yeah.
that. And so
So interesting.
those kids are exposed to us as professionals. There is, like, for instance, we talk about, one of the guys I met is an industrial psychologist. Now, I said, what is that?
What do you do?
What do you do? And
Exactly.
he was working with Google, and but it was very interesting when he explained to me about what he does as an industrial psychologist. But I've met people across the board in terms of professions that I wasn't even aware of. And more impressive is the levels that they've achieved in their particular professions. And that's just not strictly minority folks. One of my doctors, or two of my doctors, are doing things that are very interesting. And one of them is going to be playing in our tournament. And our tournament is to benefit what we have. We have a youth golf mentor program. Our tournament is to benefit that program, supply funds, and we will train those young folks that come to us. It is not just the young folks, because we've gotten involved with other folks that don't necessarily play golf, and we held a couple of golf clinics to just sort of get them the feel of being out there on the course.
Right. So the game serves for more than one purpose. It's not just to play, it's to network, it's to learn, and it's to open the eyes of our youth so that they can connect with all these different, professionals, and just, get an idea of what's out there, to see something that they've never seen before, to experience something, or to hear something, or talk to somebody, or just see somebody in their image doing great things.
Absolutely.
I think this is fantastic.
Absolutely.
So this is going to take place on this golf event. Okay, event day highlights is going to be on Monday, September 30th. So if someone wanted to go,
they could go and register on our golf website. That's opusorganizationgolf.com.
so, and that's on this flyer?
That's on the flyer.
Okay. Or they could share this YouTube. Can they scan that QR code?
They can scan that QR code, and that QR code would take them right to registration, to the website, the registration page. But they can view the website.
Okay, so businesses would register, not the kids.
No, the kids.
How do you get the kids?
No,
That's
no,
what I'm like.
no,
Where did the kids come? I mean, I know where they come from, but this is all done by professional, people that can afford to do golf. How do you get the kids?
That's a whole separate.
Yeah. Where do they
process.
come from? Do you go to high schools and do
Well,
presentations?
it
or?
depends on our connections.
Okay.
We have people that are principals at the schools.
Okay.
We have teachers
There you go.
that involve. We have people that have programs within their companies. We're connected with the Deltas. Deltas have a network of their own. They sponsor scholarships and so on, and they have different programs for kids. Now, the whole idea of our youth golf mentor program is new. It's new because
How new? When did you guys implement it?
we started it last year.
Oh, okay.
All right?
That's
We
very
started
new.
last year. It's very new, and we're still in the process of recruiting, and we haven't really formalized it yet because we need money. We have a budget. We have a program. We have all those things,
You
the
got all
golf-
these professionals
You got all these
that
professionals.
are, that can finance it.
Well, not only finance it, but what they can do is mentor.
Yeah, mentor. Yeah.
It's more important, or just as important, for them to mentor as opposed to the money, because the kids will be responsible for their own money. The parenting, the parents would be helping them out. We can help them out by supplying equipment.
Yeah.
And
I was going to say, what about the
facility.
underprivileged kids in the inner
Everybody.
cities who would never be able to afford to play a game of golf?
Well, the idea is that what we will do, we will introduce them to the game. And initially, we started last year, when I play golf with guys on Friday, which I'm going to be doing today. Anyhow, what we ask the guys to do is bring a kid with you. If in the summertime is easy, in the winter time is obviously more difficult. Bring a kid along with you, and when you bring them along, we're going to pay for their greens fees. We're going to provide them with clubs. We're going to do everything but charge them money.
Okay.
All right, and
That's right.
they will be introduced to the game
Okay.
they will be introduced to the game just like that.
That is phenomenal. Oh my goodness. I am so happy that you came here. I'm so glad that I met you. I'm going to stay in touch with you. I love what you're doing with the kids. We have about 2 minutes left. I told you this would go really fast.
Well, it certainly did.
I just got the 2-minute signal. So for the last 2 minutes of the show, please just continue sharing whatever you like to do, whatever you like to say. But what I would like to say is to be sure to share this information with your family, your friends. Let them watch the entire 28 minutes of the show, and see if they have, especially high school students who are looking for something to do. I remember I have 2 boys. They're always bored. Always bored. You could never please them, so just, bribe them or whatever you need to do to get them to one of these games. That's what I would recommend. So I want to thank you so much for coming on. And what would you like to leave us with?
Well,
We got about 10 seconds. I'm sorry.
I want to say thank you for bringing me on and giving me a chance to expose Opus to the general population.
You're very welcome, and I'm going to have you back. Thank you very much. This is the David Goodman Reality and Truth Show, and we're on your side.